I'm George Pearson, and these are just a few examples from some of the training videos I have here on YouTube. Now, when you're working with the training, following along the training, if you want to get the materials I used in the training, just go to the description down below and click on the link that's at the top of the description, and this will take you to a page where you can download the materials. Please subscribe, click the like button, and of course always share on Facebook, Twitter, or wherever. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started with the video. In this Photoshop Elements video, we're going to be doing a graphic here for the Chinese New Year 2016, Year of the Fire Monkey. Now this has a few things happening in it. Obviously we have a specialty typeface down there and a few tricks happening on the specialty typeface. And of course our fire monkey over here on the right hand side. There's a lot of steps involved to get this fire monkey, and this is taken from an actual photograph. So let's go ahead and start. I'll just close this down and then we'll start off with a new file. We start with a picture of a monkey. This is something which I found online. It's a free download, and the link for this is on my video material support page. And we're going to be making a selection of this monkey and taking this monkey out of this picture and then putting the monkey into a new file. So let's first just get our new file ready to go, and that's File, New, Blank File. And I have this set for the default Photoshop Elements size, which is 6x4 and 300 resolution. Choose OK. We'll just minimize that. Now, on the monkey, let's zoom in. Make it a little bit larger here. Now, what I'll be doing is making a selection of the monkey using the polygonal lasso tool. And you use this tool by just clicking dots, and then Photoshop Elements fills in the line between those dots. It's an easy to use tool and fairly easy to control. It may not be as accurate as some other ways of working, but for this particular use, this is exactly what we need. Some spots like this arm and along the back of the monkey has some hair. I want to keep a little bit of that fur look, and we'll do that with the Refine Edge tool after this first round of selection. So I'm just going to be going around this whole monkey here and making this first pass of this selection. And that's going to take me a few minutes, so I'm going to pause the video at this point, and then I'll bring the video back up again as soon as I have this selection made. But I'm just going to be doing this exact same thing here. I'm just going to be going around the monkey and making a fairly decent selection around this figure. Okay, I'll go ahead and pause the video right now, and I'll bring the video back up again as soon as I have this first selection finished. Alright, there's the selection clear around this whole monkey shape. Let me just pull that down and you can see the whole selection. Did a little bit of zigzag here on the back of a couple of these legs. Just add a little bit of an effect in there. Keep in mind the whole thing is going to become a fire looking thing, so we don't have to be really accurate about this. Now I want to have a little bit of the fur in here and a little bit of the fur back along in here, maybe on this arm here. We can try to improve this a bit by using the Refine Edge tool. So while our selection is on, go to Select, Refine Edge, and there are several different views up here. The Marching Ants view, Overlay view, on black, on white, black and white. Personally, I like the overlay view. The tool we'll be using here is just the edge detection, and this is going to come in and look at the edge that you're asking it to re-examine and see if it can make a better selection for you. So we'll just do a little bit of that right here along this edge, and that gets that fur better. That's good. Just a little bit right there, and there it is. That's okay. Just kind of go along the back edge here. Just do a little bit of that. We don't need much on this. And we'll be cleaning this up a little bit as well in just a bit here. This just improves the effect just a bit. And that's about all I think we need. Now if it happens to go into the image a little bit like it did right here, kind of went into the image, you can reverse that by using the eraser tool. And the eraser tool puts it back to the non-masked setting. So sometimes it's nice to come in and just kind of clean up the insides of these areas that you use this on and make sure that there's nothing really messing up. And we'll fix that again in just a little bit here. I think that looks pretty good for our purposes. Okay, now we need to output this, so we're going to output this to let's do it to a new layer up here and choose OK. So here it is on a new layer, and it's just the monkey image. We now can copy this to our other file. Let me just bring that file up here. That's our blank file. There we go. And you can just drag from one file to the other. I'll just drag this over here like that. There it is. There's the monkey looking pretty good. And I can now close this file down. We no longer need this one. It's going to ask if I want to save this. I'm going to say no because I already have that copied over there. So let's just not save that. Alright, that's the first step. We have our monkey now inside of our page. I now want to convert this monkey to black and white. We'll be working with a negative of a black and white to create the fire effect. So the first thing I do, I want to keep this just in case. So let's just make a copy of this. Take this and drag it up to the new layer button, make a copy, and hide that. So there's my original saved. We can now zoom in on our copied layer up here and make any additional adjustments. As you can see, there's a little bit of a rough edge in there. That's actually fine. I'm not going to worry about that. That'll add a little bit to our look. So we're okay. Looks fine. All right. Let's now convert this. So we'll go up here to Enhance and come down to Convert to Black and White. Here we go. There are lots of options. We have infrared, newspaper, portraits, landscape, urban, snapshot, vivid. I kind of like newspaper for this one because it's pretty high contrast. So let's do the newspaper one, choose OK. So there's the newspaper working out pretty good. Let's just duplicate again at this point. These are just safety duplications. So if I need to go back a couple of steps, it's a lot easier to just go back to one of these stages than it is to try to jump back several steps in the history file or anything else. I mean, this is just real easy. I just delete that layer and go back to here and start over again. So I like to do these in-between steps on occasion if it warrants it. If I'm doing a major change, I'll do a save layer at that point. Okay, at this point, we're going to invert this image. And that's a filter, adjustments, invert. And we now have a negative of our monkey right there. So we're getting there. Now with this, we're going to want this on a black background because we have white before. So let's just make a new layer down here. New layer. Your colors should most likely be in the foreground background default settings, which is black foreground, white background. Grab the paint bucket and fill that. And there's the negative monkey on a black background. Okay, now we're going to just adjust this monkey a little bit to increase the contrast a bit more. So we're going to go up here to Enhance, adjust lighting and levels. Here we go. Down here we can darken the dark stem by pulling the black in a little bit, and we can lighten the lights up by pulling the white in. And by doing this on both sides, we're increasing the contrast of the image. I don't want a whole lot, just a bit in on the black and a bit in on the white. You can adjust your mid values in here as well if you want to. But I'll leave these at the 0 setting. I think that's okay for a particular use. Alright, there we go. So that's the basic monkey. Now we're going to only use part of this. I'm going to be using the midtone values from this monkey. And we'll save that to another layer. Let me just pull this up so you can see what we're doing down below here. There we go. Let's go to the magic wand and set it at a fairly high tolerance. Mine's at 61. Let's put that to 60 for this one. It's pretty good. And find kind of mid-tone gray. It's going to be in here somewhere. Click on that and let's just see how that works out. That's not really what I want. Let's try a little bit different spot. That's better. So you want a spot like this. So it's just a little bit just a little darker than midtone. I want something that gives me a lot of selected area like that. These come down around the hands, around the feet. So they're selected. And I think that's pretty good. We're now going to copy this to a new layer. So layer new via copy. And it gives us our new copy. I can now hide that layer. And here's what we have left. We have the midtones and the lights, and then holes where it was either real white, which was over in here, or real dark. It just kind of makes the image just look a little bit strange, which is, again, what we're looking for. You want to kind of make it kind of an odd looking thing, and it's broken up a bit because the flame is breaking up that image. Okay, I'm going to just back out just a touch here so you can see more of that monkey in the page. Okay, so that takes care of the black and white version of that. Now we need to add in our color into our monkey, the kind of orangey colors. And we'll do that by using an adjustment layer. So let's go up here to Layer, New Adjustment Layer, and the one you want is the gradient map right there. And choose OK. And it gives you this gradient. Now if you click on the actual gradient, and before I even do that, right down here, bottom left-hand corner is that little checkbox right there. Click that and make sure that this thing indents a touch. What that does is it only applies this to the layer right below, and that's what we want to have happening. We want it just being applied to that layer. So make sure that you click in that little box. If I click it again, notice how it comes back and it's even. So click that box and make sure that that's indented. Okay, now click on the gradient, and if I click on one of our gradients, you can see what happens here. It maps this gradient to the values. That's actually not too bad. I kind of like that. But it maps the values, that's kind of fun too, onto that image. It gives some real interesting effects. Okay, let's go back to our black and white. And we're now going to change the left side color and the right side color. The bottom ones here are the color stops. Click on the color stop and you get the little color icon, color chooser there. And let's choose a nice bright yellow, maybe a little bit more orangey on that. There we go. Just kind of like a bright, slightly orange yellow. Choose OK. On the right hand side I want this to be a red. So clear up to our reds like that, and then back down just a little bit. Just down here, about a quarter of the way down, maybe a little less than a quarter of the way down. So we have yellow for the lightest part, and it goes into a deep or kind of a reddish color in here. These are our midtones, and where we had pure whites, like right up in here, and pure blacks, both of those are going empty, which is perfect. But I have a lot of nice reds and oranges in here. Choose OK. So that gives our basic coloration. And there we are. Now we can come in here and give this a little bit of a layer style. We can just close that at this point as well. Let's come back to our layer. And we can give this a little bit of a layer style, just a little bit of a glow. So let's go up here to Layer and come down to Layer Style. There it is, Style Settings. We're doing a glow on this. Want an outer glow. And we'll put the size at about 10. You can just type it in if you want to. And leave the opacity at 75. Now I want this kind of an orangey color in here. And the one that I used, if you want to be an exact match, is FF9900. But there it is. It's just kind of, it's in the mid-orange ranges all the way upper right-hand corner. And it gives me just a little bit of an orange glow. If I hide the preview and bring it back in, you can see what that's doing. It's just giving me a little bit of a glow. It kind of softens the edge up around that figure and thickens up some of these outer lines for us. So that's what we're doing right there at that step. And choose OK. All right, we now have our basic figure in here. This is the basic monkey figure. We now need to place some flames into our monkey figure. And we'll be doing those on a layer underneath the monkey. So click on the layer right below, choose New Layer. Here we go. This is going to be our flame layer right here. I'm just going to type in flame. We're going to be making several copies of this. This is just the basic flame layer that we'll be using and placing in here in behind our image. And let's open up the flame images up here. So open recent, there we go, recent file, and that's the one that I used. There are lots of these flame images available online. Of course, I have a link for this particular one in the materials support page. So now in this, I want to take just part of this flame, not the whole thing, just part of it, and I'll be using the magic wand again, and come here and you just click someplace in the middle area in here like that, and it just grabs a lot of the inner part here of the flame. That's the part I'll be using for this. Now let's just copy this, edit, copy, and here's something kind of fun. You can copy from one file and paste onto another file. Let me just get this over here. There we go. I'm on that flame layer, edit, and paste. So it copies from the one and pastes into the other. Now it's a little hard edge at this point, so I want to soften the edge down just a touch. We'll do that with the Gaussian blur filter in here. And I'm going to set this to just a little bit of blur, not too much. I'll do a 2.5, and it just softens the edge. Let me just do the preview on and off so you can see that. Just softening up and toning down that edge a little bit. Now this is in behind the monkey. We'll be doing a few things with this. We'll be putting this in to fill in some of these dark areas. It's actually transparent. That gives us some flame inside of the figure. And then we'll also be having some flame coming out of the figure as well. Let's just first start with just filling in some of these shapes. I'll put it right there, and I'll be filling in this part in here. And let's just grab the eraser tool now. Right now it's set at 83 pixels, pretty good size. And I'm just going to be erasing this area off here. Before I do that, I'm just going to make a copy of this. Let's just copy that like that. I'll hide that copy, and you'll see why in just a minute. Okay, back down here, I'm just going to erase this stuff. Don't need that right now. All I care about is what's in here. All right, that's the first little bit. Let's show our next copy here. And let's move this around and use it to just kind of fill in some more of those areas. I'm actually getting two pieces out of this at the same time, getting a little bit of a tail bit right there, which I wanted, and it's filling in here as well. Okay, now I want to erase some of that, but first let's copy this layer again. There we go, and hide that one. That just saves me having to go back to this and grab more of this file. I could do it the same way, just make a new layer, copy, paste, do it that way, but just copying this is a bit easier. Okay, I want to get rid of that little bit right there. Eraser tool, let's just clean that. If I want to leave the front side of this monkey fairly clean, have most of the flame on the back side. If you get little bits like that flying off, that's fine. We can leave that. Okay, let's go to our next one. Yeah, that's up here. I'm going to stretch this time. It's a little different effect. Got the wrong layer there by accident. I'm going to lock that back layers so I don't keep on doing that, bumping into it. Okay, back up here, and that's where I wanted that. Let's grab this. I'm going to bring this up and just put this into the face area and arm. And I think I'll rotate this a bit as well. You can actually, rotate your image like that. Just grab just outside the corner. Okay, that will give me some stuff up in the dark areas up in here, which is what I want. And back to the eraser tool, and just erase some of the stuff out that we don't want to have in there. Leave a bit on the back, that's fine. I'm just getting some detail inside those black areas. Okay, the last two I want to work with is this area here, and then that back of that leg. I want to get those two areas with some detail in there as well. So let's just go back to this there. I'm going to grab this layer again. It has the two lines on it. That's one that has kind of the tail piece over there. Grab that one again and duplicate, and let's bring that down here. I'm going to rotate this one the other way. I'll grab outside the corner. I'll pull it around like that, and I'll use that to kind of fill in that back leg. And choose OK. And again, I'll erase out the parts that I don't want, which is pretty much everything else on that layer. I'm just kind of filling in and finishing off that shape. Alright, that gives our basic shapes filled in. Now let's get some flames coming out above the head and above the back over here and a little bit over on this side. That will then give us the rest of our flames for our fire monkey. Go back to this one here, that's this first flame copy. It's kind of my master that I'm using. And I'm going to grab this one, make another copy. There we go. Grab on the flames itself, pull it over. This time I'm going to flip it like that and make it a bit wider, just kind of change the shape a bit. And I'm going to bring that up here and rotate a little bit. And so I can find something that looks interesting for the off the back. Just a bit of flames, maybe straight up and down is even better. That looks pretty good. Okay, that's that bit up in there. Now you can click on and off to see where it's landing and then take out the parts that you don't want. This is covering a lot of stuff for us. Again, I mostly want to have flames on the back side and not on the front side. So I'll just come in and erase anything off of the front in there that happens to be showing and leave the flames on the back side. And it's looking pretty good. I think we just about have the fire monkey look at this point. So we can now come in and just take a look at each one of our layers. That one's okay. I like that. That's the back a little bit in front. That's fine. That looks pretty good. You better take a little bit out right in the face there on that layer. Just make sure I'm on the right layer here. That layer. Just a little bit there I don't want. At the back and the tail, that's good. And then this fills in the inside of that leg. That's looking fine. Okay, so we have our flaming fire monkey is all taken care of. Now if you want to at this point you can collapse these layers down, or if you want to leave them open so you can play with them a little bit, you can go ahead and just leave them on there as well. And if you want, you can always go back and grab different levels of flame and pull those in. But for our discussion, I think we have our fire monkey is all set. Alright, now we need to bring in the type. So let's go to the top up here, put a new layer above that so we have a new layer for our text. And we're going to be doing some different text in here. Then we'll come back, we'll do a little bit of tweaking at the end in here to adjust things. We'll get our text positioned first. So let's add a new layer in here, some new type. Go over to our type tool, which is right there. The first bit of type is just the date, and let's set this to white. Pull that up a little bit. There we go, as you can see that. Set your color to white, which is right there. And the one I'm using for this is Bodoni BKBT Book Italic. It's a real standard typeface. You probably already have it on your system. If not, you can easily find this one for free online. And set at 38 point. I'm going to click right about there and just type in 2016. Hit the enter key and we'll put in, keep my typing going right here, year of the. I want this smaller though, so let's select this and let's set this at 17 point, which is just a little bit smaller than that size. Now you can adjust the spacing if you want to on these. Just come in here and triple click like that and you can adjust your spacing, the leading right there, and you can adjust exactly how far that is by adjusting the leading. To adjust the leading, all you have to do is grab the word leading, hold down your mouse key and then pull back and forth, and it will actually adjust that for you visually while you're working. Okay, so there's the date, and that's just as is, all we need to do there. We now need to put in here Fire Monkey. So let's go back here to our horizontal type tool, and for this one I've chosen a special typeface. Let's just scroll up a little bit here and let me make sure I'm no longer on that. Click off, click out. Let's do a new layer. There we go. Make sure you don't mess up our date. Okay, so this is a new typeface. And it's right up here above my Arial stuff. There it is, Arcade Fire Regular. I have the link for this for the download online in the materials support page. And this needs to be all caps. Fire Monkey. Back up a little bit. There we are. And the size for our Fire Monkey type is going to be 38 point. Again, it's the same size as a 2016. And I'm going to adjust the leading on this a little bit. Again, just holding down where it says leading and pulling it back and forth till I get the spacing that I want, like that. And I'm going to be putting an additional space right after the I. So there's a F space I. It's just this particular typeface, there's no space in front of the I. So I'm just putting a space between those, and that gives me the right layout. All right, so there is the basic lettering. Now, we need to, of course, have this lettering in color. Right now it's just sitting here in black and white. So let's change the color of our lettering. Back to our type tool. Triple click to select your lettering and come down here to our color. And scroll down a little bit. And right there, that's one you want. It's called Pure Red Orange. And that gives our nice red-orange color for the Fire Monkey. Now, there's a few more things to do on this so that we're all set up. There's some layer style stuff here. So layer, layer style, style settings. We'll put a drop shadow in first. This is going to be visible in just a little bit. Let's get it set up right now. Now I want the size can stay at 5. That's fine. Change the distance though to 13 and change the opacity to 100. There's our drop shadow. We also want to put a stroke around this. Come down here to stroke. And it's going to be an outside stroke. Put the size at 2 and 100%. That's correct. Outside. And we're changing the color in here. What I want, again, is more of a lighter color. Now, the one that I used, I'll just type this in, is FED. And it's a 6-1 and E right there. So it's a yellow, kind of a slightly orangish yellow, and just a little bit in from full saturation. This is full saturation here, no saturation there, or desaturated. So it's almost full saturation, but not quite. And that gives us that kind of two-tone effect on that typeface. So that takes care of the basic coloration on that. So there's the Fire Monkey with the coloration. You can now just position this. It should line up with the left side of the date, pretty close. I can then select both of those, and we can adjust our position a bit better. Here we go. I'm setting it up so it's about, so Monkey's about just to the right of his leg, and then about the same amount of space bottom and left hand side. Just get a little bit of space around that, making it a nice little graphic shape in here. Okay, we're not done yet though. A little more work to do here on our typeface. Let's move up, grab the Fire Monkey layer, make a copy of that, and then pull that copy underneath the original layer. I now need to convert this into a simplified graphic as opposed to being typed. So let's right click and simplify. So the lettering is now a graphic, but we still have the effects over there. So let's right click, simplify again, and it actually simplifies the effects into the graphic as well. Now we're going to blur this a little bit. So let's go up here to Filter, and then Blur, Gaussian Blur. And this time I want a whole lot more blur to this. I'm going to be putting in, see it kind of, it's beginning to grow in there. We're going to put in a blur of 45, and there it is without, and there it is with. So it's giving me a nice controlled glow, and the glow kind of matches the shapes of the letters because of course it's made from the letters. So there's that basic glow. We'll go one step further on this one. Take that same layer, duplicate it so it's on top. You see the glow becomes stronger. There it is without, and there's two layers, so it's a stronger glow. And we're also going to be changing the values and coloration a little bit on this layer by blending this layer into the other blur layer. We'll blend them together. And we'll be doing that with a linear light blending mode. So just come down here to linear light. There it is done in the light section. And that gives me that nice red effect on the lettering. Okay, so that finishes off the lettering, and it actually pretty much finishes off the whole Fire Monkey poster. I think I'm going to move the lettering just a little bit, select all of those layers and the date layer, and put it over here just a touch like that. And I'm going to grab all of the monkey layers in here. That's the monkey and all of the flame layers. I'm going to pull them down just a bit. It looks like I lost one of my flames. There it is. And pull them down just a little bit right there. And let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks better. I like that position a little bit better. So there's our Fire Monkey, and there's our text. Now if you want to go in, you can modify or adjust the Fire Monkey at this point. You actually have some ability to come in here and do some more stuff on this if you want to. Let me show you how to do that. Go back here to the layer, and I'm going to be putting in another adjustment layer on this. So layer, adjustment layer, and levels. There it is at the top. Choose OK. Notice that the levels here come in below the gradient, and they're also indented. It follows that indentation. So it's only going to be acting on just the monkey itself and not on the flame. And I now can adjust the brightness of the monkey. So I can actually brighten that up a bit by pulling the left side in. Make it a little bit more exciting. Pull the right side in. I can darken down the darks by pulling this in a little bit. It actually increases the contrast, and I can adjust the midtones in there. I think I'll leave the midtones where they are, but bringing the darks in a little bit brightens up. You see, it kind of brightens the yellows up, and bringing the lights in kind of darkens down the lights and just makes it a little more contrasty, a little more interesting on that image. You know, it's the kind of thing which you have to wait until the very end to do because we're now matching this to everything else that we've done, so it has a similar flavor, similar feel to it. That's why I waited on this one step. Let's just zoom in, see how we're looking at this point. We're just about finished. Let's just bring that up. That looks pretty good. Last thing we need to do now is to put in our gradient on the background. Okay, let's just zoom back out again. And I didn't want to dock that. There we go. Okay, on the background, let's put a new layer above the black layer. So new layer, there it is, layer 3. And let's go to over here. I'm going to set the foreground color to black, and that's all the way bottom left-hand corner. Let's set the background color to pure red. That's all the way upper right-hand corner if this is pulled clear to the bottom. So black to red. And let's grab the gradient tool right there. Now the gradient tool pulls from the left to the right side, so it's black to red. And I have this set at a linear gradient, normal, 100%. Nothing unusual there. And I'll just pull the gradient just straight down, just like that. That pulls it just straight down. Now, I don't want it quite that bright, so I'm going to bring the opacity down to just the opacity on this, and I'll bring it down to 40%. There we go. And that gives us that nice little color in there. So we have a bit of coloration. This all is still nice and bright. And Fire Monkey still looks good on that one. You can adjust that more if you want to, and get it adjusted just to your personal taste by changing your opacity a bit. If I bring it down a bit further, you see you can bring it way down so it's real subtle. I'll bring it way up. I want it real bright. But for mine, here I'm going to leave it at 40 so you have that nice glow happening. Okay, we're just about finished. One last little step to do in our Fire Monkey over here. I'm just going to take a look at the lettering positioning. I think that looks pretty good. Overall color looks pretty good. Okay, last step on our Fire Monkey. Let's go up here to the monkey layer again, which is right there below all of our type layers. Click on that layer, and I want to be able to see our flames through the monkey. I want to kind of combine the monkey fur with our flame effect in behind, make it a real Fire Monkey. Go up here to the blending modes and come down to screen, and there we go. That just kind of blends in the monkey, and you can see the fur happening in here with the flames that are in behind, that I placed in behind. So there it is. There is the 2016 year of the Fire Monkey. Let's just go back down to our first layer. And there we go. There is the completed picture. Thank you for watching this special Photoshop photography project video. Don't forget to subscribe so that you will get first notice of new project videos in the future. Just click on this link right here where it says subscribe here. You can get all 12 project videos in this series along with 26 special videos demonstrating the tools and techniques that I used in these projects by clicking on this link right down here. And then thank you again for watching this training video.